It is August, so you're probably thinking you're just weeks away from closing down the garden, but the opposite could not be more true. There are so many seeds for all of us to plant this month, no matter where we live. So in this video, I'm going to outline 5 seeds you should plant in August, whether you're in a cold place, a hot place, or somewhere in between. So grab your seeds, let's get started. I'm gonna start out with my cold climate friends because you're probably most definitely thinking that your garden season is coming to an abrupt end. But listen, you've got so much opportunity if you plant the right things now. You're probably gonna have frost coming your way as early as September, maybe October if you're lucky. And so we wanna get some things in the soil right now so that you get a harvest before or slightly after those frosts come. So I'm gonna be recommending some seeds to you to plant that don't mind the cold, they don't mind the frost, and they are quick to harvest. So first up, this is the one you should put in almost immediately, is calendula. Calendula is a pest-fighting flower. It is an awesome trap crop and it grows from seed super fast. You'll have these beautiful blooms in the middle of fall and it's the perfect fall flower. And you're gonna get these blooms before you get a lot of frost. And most of these blooms are frost tolerant. So you're still gonna be able to harvest from them and grow them even after your temps start to drop. So drop everything you're doing, grab some calendula seed and go stick them in the bed right now. You will thank me in about 60 days. So that's the pretty one that I want all of us to add if you're in a cool climate. Next up are radishes. Radishes are a fast producing root crop. They're the fastest that we can grow in the kitchen garden. So you're gonna be able to get a harvest before your frosts get heavy, before you've got snow covering your beds. We're talking 30, 40 days from planting from seeds. If you plant right now, you'll have a radish harvest in mid-September. These things are so delicious. I've been pickling them all year long and I am hooked in a good way. So please, please plant some radishes. Next up, some arugula. One of the fastest greens you can grow from seed, does not mind frost, and will give you tons of harvest before your frost or the cold really hits. Years ago, when I was in Chicago, I filled my garden with arugula around August, and I was harvesting salads every single day for weeks on end, even after my first frost hit. So don't skip the arugula. Next up is cilantro. If your cilantro failed this summer, which most people's do if they try to grow it when it's hot, this is your second chance. This is your opportunity to make good on cilantro. Cilantro loves cool weather. And bonus, if you get the seeds in the ground and you get the plants to go all the way to seed again, you'll have cilantro popping up in the early spring of next year. So cilantro is a fantastic herb to grow in the fall. And if you get the seeds in right now, you'll have harvest before you hit October. And next is spinach. So spinach is not as fast a growing green as arugula, but it's even more frost tolerant. So spinach gets sweeter with the cold. It loves a little frost, even a little snow on its leaves. And you're gonna have greens deeper into the winter if you go ahead and put spinach in your garden right now in August. So these are plants I want you to plant if you're in a cold climate in August. Now let's cover my hot climate gardeners. So you are probably dying for fall. I remember when I lived in Houston, my depression month moved from January, which it was when I lived in colder places, to September. Because when September came and the summer weather didn't go away, I was so sad. So the good part is, the way you can make good on the fact that summer isn't leaving you anytime soon, is you can plant more plants. You can get another harvest from all these seeds. So you want to be thinking seeds that can produce in 50 to 60 days, because you've got about 50 to 60 more days of heat, I know, sorry, before the temps start to come down a little bit and your daylight starts to shrink a little bit. So first up are cucumbers. These will give you fruit in about 50 to 60 days. By the way, if you need seeds for any of these plants I'm talking about, they're all Gardenary seeds, and I'll put a link to those right below this video. Now, if you ever look at all these seeds and you wonder, like, how big is that plant gonna get? How much room does it need in the garden? I made a starter kit to help you understand how much space each and every one of these plants need, so you can pack them all into a garden and make sure you get the most production and the most beauty possible. We have that starter kit available for free right now. You can download it right below this video. The next seed I recommend growing for you are bush beans. Now, you could definitely grow pole beans too, but bush beans are great. They're gonna give you a lot of harvest all at once, and you know you're gonna pick the plant all the way to its fullness in about 55 to 60 days. Plus, I love shoving these in right underneath the cucumbers. It's really beautiful. Mizuna is a great green to grow when it's warm, but it's not as hot as the middle of July. In the same plant family as arugula, but a different flavor profile, still a little bit peppery, and I love this Asian red color. It is so gorgeous in the garden. And zucchini, this is gonna fill up your bed. So if you've got some big blank spaces, or you've got room to grow these over the side of your bed, or even train them up a trellis, zucchini will grow fast. We're talking 50 to 60 days before harvest, and you'll be able to make all the things with all the zucchini. You know, that's what they say, like teach a woman to grow zucchini and the whole neighborhood's gonna get some. So grow zucchini, it's gonna give you a harvest before your temperatures start to go down. And surprise, there's still flowers to grow in summer if you're in a warm climate. Zinnias. Zinnias will give you a harvest in about 50 to 60 days. So we're talking the most beautiful fall garden ever. Even though it's still hot where you live, even though you're really tired of being sweaty when you're out in the garden, you're gonna have flowers, tons and tons and tons of flowers. And finally, my mild climate gardeners, I'm with you. I'm here in Nashville, Tennessee. These are the things I'm putting into my garden in August. First up are lettuces. This is our second chance to get some delicious, soft, sweet lettuces before the temperatures start to drop. I'm gonna be growing a ton of butterhead lettuce. I love the flavor of this lettuce, and groceries could never, let me just say, grocery stores could never compare to this. There are a ton of seeds in this one little packet. You could fill beds and beds of butterhead lettuce, and you should in August if you're in a mild climate. Carrots, also a second chance. If your spring carrots were a fail, now's the time to get carrot seeds in. Carrots don't mind frost. They will hang on in the garden even through winter. I've had seeds that I put in the garden in fall and harvest them the next spring. So these things are cold hardy. You'll get some harvest before the frost arrives, but even if you have an early frost or an early winter, you'll get to enjoy these the next spring. So put some carrots right in alongside your lettuces, and beets too. Beets are frost tolerant. They're gonna give you delicious harvest before November, and they're just such a good fall crop. I love the color, I love the feel of these plants, and they're a staple for the fall garden. They should be planted right now though, so you can be sure you get a harvest before things really drop in terms of temperature. Next up, speaking of rushing to plant, you need to put your sugar snap peas in the ground right away. These need a good 65, 75 days before you get a harvest. So if you don't plant them now, you're probably gonna miss them until next spring. Plant them underneath the trellis so that they have plenty of support as they grow. And last but not least, hurry, hurry, hurry and plant yourself some nasturtium. Nasturtium typically don't like frost, but you can put those in the garden right now in August, and you should have flowers before the beginning of October, which means you'll have these beautiful fall colors in your garden, lots of beautiful flowers that you paid like pennies for. And when you get a first frost, they may suffer a little bit if you get a heavy frost, but you'll get lots of blooms before that time comes. And these bonus add in as a trap crop. They'll attract the pest and keep them off your lettuce, your carrots, your beets, your peas. So this is for you, my mild climate gardeners, what you should put in the garden in August. Now you're probably thinking, Nicole, 5 plants to put in the garden right now? How am I gonna pack all those into my one garden bed? Well, lucky for you, I figured out a system where I can pack all these plants into just one garden and get amazing results, and I'm teaching you how to do it right here.